This is WESH TV, Channel 2, Daytona Beach, Orlando, Florida.
Good evening. Dean Todd's on vacation. I'm Scott Harris. Good evening once again.
Covering Central Florida from coast to coast, from the studios and remote facilities of WESH TV, this is Midday.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to
The Tonight Show follows NewsCenter 2 next on the news station.
Good evening from NewsCenter 2. I'm Wayne Bennett.
I'm Scott Harris.
Live at 6, this is NewsCenter 2.
Good evening. I'm Andrea Coudrier.
And I'm Bruce Hamilton. Topping the news at this hour. Good evening. I'm Bruce Hamilton.
Good evening, I'm Sheila O'Connor.
And I'm Bruce Hamilton. Topping the news at this hour.
This is Central Florida's NewsCenter 2.
Good evening, I'm John McIntyre. Welcome to NewsCenter 2 Weekend.
The one for all, Florida's Channel 2. This is NewsCenter 2, today, with Claire Metz and meteorologist Jim Clark. Brought to you by Wet n Wild.
This is NewsCenter 2 Midday. With Jackie Brockington, John McIntyre, meteorologist Dan Satterfield, and our own Bill Schaefer.
Florida's to the one for all.
This is NewsCenter 2 at 6. With Steve Rondinero and Andrea Coudrier. Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. And sports with Mark Middleton.
A father's pain triggers a melee in an Orange County courtroom.
Florida's to the one for all.
This is NewsCenter 2 Nightcast. With Steve Rondinero and Andrea Coudrier. Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. And sports with Mark Middleton.
This was one of Manuel Noriega's last moments on Panamanian soil.
Florida's to the one for all.
This is NewsCenter 2 Nightcast. With Steve Rondinero and Andrea Coudrier. Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. And sports with Buddy Pittman.
The Baptist Church has lost its minister.
Florida's to the one for all.
This is NewsCenter 2 Nightcast. With Steve Rondinero and Robin Chapman. Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. And sports with Mark Middleton.
More killings in Alachua County.
You're watching Florida's 2. This is 2 News Today with Claire Metz and meteorologist Jim Clark. Now, Florida's 2 News. Brought to you by Wet n Wild. You're watching Florida's 2. This is 2 News at 5 with Steve Rondinero and Andrea Coudrier. Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. And Good News with Bill Schaefer. Now, Florida's 2 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrea Coudrier.
I'm Steve Rondinero, and what a day this has been.
You're watching Florida's 2. This is 2 News at 11 with Steve Rondinero and Robin Chapman. Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. And Sports with Mark Middleton. Now, Florida's 2 News.
Bullets fly tonight in a crowded Central Florida.
You're watching Florida's 2. This is 2 News Weekend with Scott Hansen and Wendy Chiochi. Weather with Marty Stebbins. And Sports with Buddy Pittman. Now, Florida's 2 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us.
You're watching Florida's 2. This is 2 News Weekend with Scott Hansen and Wendy Chiochi. Weather with Marty Stebbins. And Sports with Buddy Pittman. Now, Florida's 2 News.
It's another night in the hospital for the president.
This is WESH. The news starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Ed Highland. Thanks for being with us.
And I'm Lisa Meyer.
This is WESH. The news continues now.
Good evening, I'm Terry Sater. Thanks for staying with us.
I'm Andrea Coudrier. This is 2 News at 5:30.
This is WESH. The news starts now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us.
This is WESH. The news starts now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Robin Chapman.
I'm Steve Rondinero. This is 2 News at 11 o'clock.
You're watching 2 News at 11 with Steve Rondinero and Robin Chapman. Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. And Sports with Mark Middleton. This is WESH. The news starts now.
Good evening, I'm Scott Hansen.
I'm Wendy Chiochi. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching 2 News at 11 with Scott Hansen and Wendy Chiochi. Weather with Marty Stebbins and Buddy Pittman with Sunday Sports Extra. Live for Central Florida, this is News Channel 2 at noon.
The royal family arrives in London this morning.
Live for Central Florida, this is News Channel 2 Nightbeat.
This is Larry Grant. It's a good idea.
This is News Channel 2, where the news comes first.
Good evening, I'm John O'Connor.
I'm Wendy Chiochi.
Where the news comes first. You're watching WESH News Channel 2.
If you have to head to downtown Orlando today.
You're watching WESH News Channel 2. Where the news comes first.
Where the news comes first. You're watching WESH News Channel 2.
A crime spree suspect in court.
You're watching WESH News Channel 2 at 11 with Wendy Chiochi, Jim Payne, Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh, and Bill Schaefer's Sports.
You're watching WESH News Channel 2, Central Florida's most watched source for local news. With Claire Metz, Mark Middleton, and meteorologist Mike Olenek. WESH News Channel 2, where the news comes first.
Good afternoon, everybody.
You're watching WESH News Channel 2, Central Florida's most watched source for local news, with Wendy Chiochi, Jim Payne, Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh, and Bill Schaefer's Sports. WESH News Channel 2, where the news comes first. WESH TV, Central Florida's most watched source for local news. You're watching WESH News Channel 2, where the news comes first.
We are following a developing story right now.
WESH TV. You're watching Central Florida's most watched source for local news. WESH News Channel 2, where the news comes first.
Seminole County's messiest neighbor will use his get out.
Where the news comes first. You're watching WESH News Channel 2.
We're following developments in today's big story.
You're watching WESH News Channel 2, where the news comes first. Now, Wendy Chiochi and Jim Payne.
Good evening. One suspect.
You're watching WESH 2 News with Claire Metz, Mark Middleton, and your Weather Plus forecast with Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh. WESH 2 News, where the news comes first.
Good morning, it's 4:59 and an unbelievable story coming out of Orange.
With big coverage of the day's big stories, this is WESH 2 News Sunrise.
Neighbors wake to the sounds of a...
With big coverage of the day's big stories, this is WESH 2 News on CW18 with Erica Washington, Ro Martinez, meteorologist Jason Brewer with your WESH 2 Weather Plus forecast, Kimberly Williams with traffic, and Chopper 2 pilot Dan McCarthy, live only local news chopper in the morning. This is WESH 2 News on CW18. With big coverage of the day's big stories, this is WESH 2 News at 6 with Wendy Chiochi. With big coverage of the day's big stories, this is WESH 2 News at 6 with Wendy Chiochi in high definition.
Good evening and welcome to my final broadcast here at WESH 2 News.
WESH 2 News with your Weather Plus forecast starts now. With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News Sunrise in high definition.
Good Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sion Rhodes.
And I'm Jeff Lennox. Thanks for joining us.
With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News Sunrise with Scott Walker, Sion Rhodes, meteorologist Jason Brewer, and traffic with Kimberly Williams. This is WESH 2 News Sunrise in high definition. With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News at noon in high definition. With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News at 4 in high definition. With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News at 5 with Martha Zagowski, Jim Payne, and Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi. This is WESH 2 News at 5 in high definition. With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News at 6 in high definition. With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News on CW18 in high definition.
7 o'clock the time right now on CW18, 5.
With big coverage of the day's big stories and Central Florida's most accurate forecast, this is WESH 2 News at 11 in high definition.
Tonight.
This is WESH 2 News Sunrise.
Right now in Sunrise, a suspended Orange County...
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News at 4.
Careless driving, the charge just filed.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News at 6.
Right now on WESH 2 News at 6, we are right now, 10 at 10. Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News on CW18 at 10.
10 minutes of nonstop news starts with a young son back in his mother.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News on CW18 at 10.
A lot of late breaking stories tonight.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News at 11.
Breaking news right now at 11. A trooper's cruiser intentionally.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News Sunrise in high definition.
Good morning, I'm Meredith McDonough. It is Thursday.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News Sunrise with Jason Guy, Meredith McDonough. First alert weather with meteorologist Amy Sweezy and traffic with Jasmine Bailey. This is WESH 2 News Sunrise in high definition.
Good morning and welcome back. It is 4:40.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News Sunrise on CW18 in high definition.
8:30 breaking news on CW18. Right now, 3 lanes remain closed.
You're watching WESH 2.
A local father says goodbye to his son for the
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News at 6 in high definition.
Breaking news in Orlando right off the top. There's been a triple shooting on the
Now at 10.
Breaking tonight, a 24-year-old cook post.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News on CW18 at 10 in high definition.
Breaking news first at
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News at 11 in high definition.
breaking right now at 11, a stunning decision.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News Sunrise.
Breaking news this morning. 3 people have been shot in Orlando.
Local, live, late breaking. This is WESH 2 News at 11.
We start with breaking news out of Orange County.
Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
A man is shot dead and a woman terrorized.
Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
We're beginning with breaking news out of Ocala.
Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
Central Florida braces for a freeze. The warnings for tonight pretty much fill up your screen. Much of the Orlando metro area could dip below 32 degrees tonight, and it'll be even colder near Ocala. Good evening. I'm Jim Payne.
I'm Sonica Donge in for Meredith McDonough.
You're in touch with WESH on Florida's Channel 2.